give you guys some gardening updates. Now the first thing that I find very fascinating, being the gardening nerd that I am, I used some grounds to garden. Now this is a fertiliser that's made of coffee grounds and worm castings. I used it for growing our lettuce that we planted last week on the show, and you can see that the green pot is the one that we used the fertiliser, and the black pot is the one that we just used our Dalton's potting mix. And you can see, well, let's be honest, there's not really much difference yet. If anything, this one's probably slightly ahead, but there's nothing much in it really. I didn't really think that through. That wasn't really much of an update. Speaking of not much of an update, these are the swan plants that we sowed last week, and you can see that they have in fact not germinated yet. Hopefully next week on the gardening update we will have more promising news on the swan plants. Speaking of promising news, we also used the grounds to garden fertiliser to fertilise one of Brock Ali's thyme seedlings and one of Brock Ali's corfire seedlings. Now these are adamantous ones, and you can probably see there's a little bit of a difference starting to emerge with the corfires. You can see the one that we've used the nitrogen rich coffee ground worm casting fertiliser, the actual stem is probably twice as big as what the one is that we didn't use the fertiliser. But when it comes to the thyme, you can see that the one that we haven't used the fertiliser is actually a lot bushier, a lot bigger than the one that we used the fertiliser with. But the one that we used the fertiliser, the roots are starting to come through the bottom. The one that we didn't use the fertiliser, the roots are not coming through. So that's interesting. So if anything, what we can sort of glean from this is that the coffee ground fertiliser, it doesn't necessarily help with foliar growth, but it does help for the formation of the stems and the roots. So interesting if you're a gardening nerd like myself, a gardener-phile you could say. One more update for gardening update. This is the thyme that we propagated 5 weeks ago here on the show, and I took a cutting from this thyme just here. All I did is took a cutting, actually I can do a quick little demonstration now, took a cutting and just pulled off the leaves lower down, put it in some water, and where those leaves were, that's where the roots started to form. Then I put it into this pot and look at it go. So some mixed reviews there with gardening update. This is the coriander that we sowed 4 weeks ago on the show. Intended to do a Rick Mail and go 4 weeks on the show. For the love of Farley, that one never gets old. So that's coriander going really well. So positives and negatives from our gardening update.